The Roman Catholic Diocese of Bayeux and Lisieux is a diocese of the Latin Rite of the Roman Catholic Church in France. The diocese is coextensive with the department of Calvados, and is a suffragan to the Archdiocese of Rouen, also in Normandy. At the time of the Concordat of 1802, the ancient Diocese of Lisieux was united to that of Bayeux. A pontifical brief, in 1854, authorized the Bishop of Bayeux to call himself Bishop of Bayeux and Lisieux. History. A local legend, found in the breviaries of the 15th century, makes St. Exuperius, first Bishop of Bayeux, an immediate disciple of St. Clement, and his ca. foundation of the 1st century, St. Regnobitus, the same legend tells us, was the successor of St. Exuperius, but the Bollandists and M.Dules Lair found little ground for this legend. It was only towards the middle of the 4th century that St. Exuperius founded the See of Bayeux. After him the priest St. Reverend thus worked to spread Christianity in these parts. Certain successors of St. Exuperius were Saints Rufinus, Lupus, Vigor, who destroyed a pagan temple, then still frequented, Regnobitus, who founded many churches, and whom the legend, owing to an anachronism, made first successor to Exuperius, and Hugues, simultaneously bishop of two other sees, Paris and Rouen. We may also mention Odin of Conteville, brother of William the Conqueror, who built the cathedral, was present at the Battle of Hastings, intrigued for the tiara on the death of Gregory VII, and died a crusader in Sicily. Cardinal Trivolce, papal legate in the Roman Campagna during the siege and pillage of Rome by the Constable de Bourbon, Arnaud Cardinal d'Orsat, an illustrious diplomatist prominently identified with the conversion of Henry IV of France. Claude Fauchet, who after being court preacher to Louis XVI, became one of the conquerors of the Bastille, was chosen constitutional bishop of Bayeux in 1791, and was beheaded 31 October 1793. Eliacute on Adolphe Amit, Archbishop of Paris, was, until 1905, Bishop of Bayeux. In the Middle Ages, Bayeux and neighboring Lisieux were very important sees. The Bishop of Bayeux was senior among the Norman bishops, and the chapter was one of the richest in France. The See of Lisieux maintained the Collège de Lisieux at Paris for poor students of the diocese. Important councils were held within this diocese, at Caen, in 1042 and 1061. In the latter was proclaimed the Truce of God. The statutes of a synod held at Bayeux about 1300 furnish a very fair idea of the discipline of the time. Among the abbeys of the Diocese of Bayeux should be mentioned those of St. Stephen and of the Trinity, both founded at Caen by William the Conqueror and his wife Matilda, in expiation of their unlawful marriage. The former of these abbeys was governed by the celebrated Lanfranc, afterwards Archbishop of Canterbury. Other abbeys were those of Traun, of which Durand, the successful opponent of Berengarius, was abbot in the 11th century, and the Abbé Duval, of which Rancé was abbot, in 1661, prior to his reform of La Trappe Abbey. The Abbey of St. Evroul in the Diocese of Lisieux, founded about 560 by St. Evroul, a native of Bayeux, is famous as the home of Ordericus Vitalis, the chronicler. St. John Eudes founded in 1641 in Caen the Congregation of Notre-Dame de Charité du Refuge, which is devoted to the protection of girls and included 33 monasteries in France and elsewhere in 1900. At Tilly, in the Diocese of Bayeux, Michel Vinctrus established, in 1839, the politico-religious society known as La Miséricorde, in connection with the survivors of La Petite Église, which was condemned in 1843 by Gregory XVI. Daniel Huet, the famous savant and bishop of Avranches, was a native of Caen. With Lyons, Bayeux was one of the French dioceses which did not abandon its Gallican rite in favor of Roman use in the years following the First Vatican Council. Bishops to 1000 Saint Exupera, 390 to 405, known as Spire, Superior, Saint Regnobert or Renobert, Raimbert. Saint Ruthenian, -434. Saint Luke 434–464. Saint Patrice 464–469. Saint Manview or Manvey, Mange, Manvian, Marwig 470–480. Saint Contest or Contesse, Context 480–513. Saint Vigor or Vigil 513–537. Lucade or Lucadius 538. Lascivius or Lascivius, Lautius. Ludovalda or Ludovald 581. Saint Gertran or Geratran 585–625. Saint Raimbert 625–668. Saint Gerbaud or Geribald, 689–691. Saint Frambold or Franbold, Frambode, 691–722. Hugo of Champagne 723–730. Kerbil c. 833. Harambert or Umbart 835–837. Saint Sulpice 838–844. Baltfried or Badfridis, Waltfried, Balfroy, Vorfroy 858. Tortolder 859–860. Chambert 860. Heinrich I, c. 927. Richard I. Hugo II, c. 965. Radolf III, or Raoul d'Avranches 986–1006. 1000–1300. Hugo III. Divry 1011, 1015–1049. Odo of Conteville or Udzai, 1049–1097. Turald de Bramoy or Denvermoy 1097–1106. Richard II. Of Dover 1107–1133. Richard III. Of Gloucester 1135–1142. Philippe d'Harcourt 1142–1163. Heinrich II. 1163–1205. Robert des Ablages 1206–1231. Thomas de Frovel 1232–1238. Guy 1240–1259. Eudes de Lorry 1263–1274. Gregor von Neapel 1274–1276. Pierre de Benesch 1305. 1300–1500. Wilhelm I. Bonnet 1306–1312. Founder of the Collège de Bayeux in Paris. Wilhelm II. Gatry 1313. Pierre II. Der Elie Vies 1325–1330. Wilhelm III. De Beaujeu 1330–1337. Wilhelm IV. Bertrand 1338–1347. Pierre III. De Villen 1349–1360. Ludwig I. Tetzart 1360–1373. Millin de Dormans 1373–1374. Nicolas Dubos 1375–1408. Jean de Bussy or Jehan de Bussy 1408–1412. Jean Langret 1414–1419. Nicolaus II. Habart 1421–1431. Zanin de Castiglione 1434–1459. Ludwig II. d'Harcourt or de Harcourt 1460–1479. Charles de Neufchâtel 1480–1498. René de Pry or René I. 1499–1516. 1500–1800. Louis III. Canossa or Louis de Canossa 1517–1531. Pierre IV. de Martina 1531. Augustine Tribolche 1531–1548. Charles II. Dumiers 1549–1571. Bernardine de Saint-François 1573–1582. Mathurin de Saveniers 1583–1586. Charles de Bourbon 1586–1590. René de Dion du Lude 1590–1600, Arnaud d'Orsat 1600–1604, Jacques d'Angenès 1606–1647, Edouard Molay 1647–1652, Abbé de Sainte-Croix 1652, François I. Servien 1654–1659, François II de Nesmond 1662–1715, Joseph Emmanuel de la Trémoille 1716–1718, François Armand of Lothringen Armagnac 1719–1728, Paul d'Albert de Luynes 1729–1753, Pierre-Jules Acute Essayard de Rochechoart Montagny 1755, Joseph Dominique de Chellas 1776–1797, Claude Fauché 1791–1793, Julien Jean-Baptiste Duchemin 1799–1799, Louis Charles Bisson 1799–1801. From 1800 Charles Brault, Charles François Duperrier du Maurier, Jean-Charles Richard Dancel, Louis François Robin, Charles Nicolas Pierre Didier, Flavien Abel Antoine Hugonin, Eliacute Owen Adolphe Amat, Thomas Paul Henry Lemonnier, Emmanuel Célestin Suhard, François-Marie Picard, André Jacquemin, Jean-Marie Clement Badré, Pierre-Auguste Gratian Pecan, SDB, Jean-Claude Boulanger. Source: this article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain. Herbermann, Charles ed. Catholic Encyclopedia. Robert Appleton Company.